Hello, it's Doris with Aldi Books coming to you from the Science Lab because I couldn't find a free room. Anyway, I have a meeting in 8 minutes, so we're gonna make this snappy. This is, dun dun dun, drum roll, the favorite reads of 2023. So exciting, right? I'm gonna be fast and furious, but I think you're gonna know most of these books. And I did want to say, before I rip through them, I had a great reading year. If you didn't see the prior two videos, my favorite genre reads and my favorites from Shorty September, and you want some great reads, check them out. Like 30 books that I would highly recommend to most of you. It's a great reading year to me. And I think, I was thinking about it on the way, looking for a filming location. And I think it's because when I first got on BookTube, I was just so excited about all the books that everyone was excited about. And I would, put them on lists and buy them and get them and read them. And I didn't stop to think for several years that just because someone else might really love that book, it might not be a book for me. So I've gotten better about being excited with people about the books they're excited about, but also putting my filter in place and being more selective about the ones I put on my TBR. So yeah, I had a great reading year, 30 really great books. Anyway, 2023 favorites, 5 fiction first and then 5 nonfiction. So Foster by Claire Keegan, set in rural Ireland. Very poignant story from a young girl's perspective and going to live with her aunt and uncle because her parents couldn't afford her. They had new children on the way. Oh, really gorgeous, short and gorgeous. Then another short one, A Mercy by Toni Morrison. This is set in the 1680s, the slave trade in America. Each chapter is told from a different character's perspective. It's a little bit murky in the beginning, the first chapter and a half, I would say, but I think that's deliberate on Toni Morrison's part. And once you settle into and figure out what's going on, the story, it is just powerful. And the literary goodness, like sentence by sentence, word by word, the choices that Toni Morrison made with language are just chef's kiss in that one. Then we have We Need New Names by No Violet Bulawayo. This one is Sean the Book Maniac's favorite, and I finally got to it, and good reason. This is just excellent. Again, I think most of my fiction has, the first 4 anyway, have perspectives from young characters. This one is just kind of a little gang of kids living in Zimbabwe, and it is just delightful, but also just cutting at the same time as they're living in poverty and, quite often in dangerous situations, but they just still have this openness of youth. And then, immigrating to the United States, one of the characters, great story. Another good one, and this one is much longer, Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois by Honoré Fannin Jeffers. This I just really loved. It's told through several generations in the family, again with slavery and just the Black experience in America. My favorite chapters were the mother and father meeting at a historically Black university, and then their youngest daughter going to the same one, and just those chapters were kind of back to back, and just the parallels between the same university but different time periods was just so interesting. I will say this one gets quite painful in the second half, like the last third especially, but just really, really great read. Fabulous. And then The Trees by Percival Everett. I got hooked up with this one through Brian from Bookish. This is a mystery, which I don't read many of those, and this is like really crass and really gory, but I just like the southernness of this. I myself am Southern, if you cannot tell, was just fabulous. And like there are plot holes in this, but I'd say it's a little bit of a satire, and it's understandable, perhaps deliberate, but really enjoyed my time with this one. Then moving on to the nonfiction, we have Bitch on the Female of the Species by Lucy Cook. This one is looking at different animals in nature and just kind of slaying this idea that everything is male and female, but just super interesting topics and animals and things in this narrative. We read this for Book Naturalists, I think in June. It was a really good one. The next three are the BookTube Prize. So Eating to Extinction, The World's Rarest Foods and Why We Need to Save Them by Dan Saladino. This is just looking mostly at plants, but just modern monoculture, things like that, global warming, but just our food supply and why it's important to save the more localized plant species. Super interesting. And then Sounds Wild and Broken by David George Haskell. This is Sonic Marvels, Evolution's Creativity, and the Crisis of Sensory Extinction. So this is all about why sound is important in the natural world. And David George Haskell is like my all-time favorite nature writing author, nonfiction author in general. I love him. He is fabulous. Anything he writes is absolutely brilliant. Very literary in a nonfiction writing too, which I love. And then also Paradise Falls, The True Story of an Environmental Catastrophe by Keith O'Brien. This one is like women, mothers pioneering for the lives of their children in just a polluted, hot mess in New York. So good book. Lawyering, all that jazz. And then finally, The Wager by David Gran, a tale of shipwreck, mutiny, and murder. This was just a ripping good yarn. It was just lots of interesting tales on the high seas. So those are my favorites of 2023. I wanted to mention my cute, I did take it up a notch with the Canadian art. I got these in Canada, and then, you know, China, stepping it up, wrong side. This is the better side. China has the cutest socks. I also have a pair of these in alligators. Okay, I got a jet. I'm late, I'm sure. Yeah, 1 minute late, and I gotta get back to my room. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be back soon. Bye.